this minute. So this is an episode that I am very excited to bring to you. I have been trying to get out here for a while. This is the grave of Elizabeth Short. Now, those of you who are not true crime aficionados like I am might not know who Elizabeth Short is. And I will tell you, she is the Black Dahlia. Yes, the Black Dahlia. So, she was born in Massachusetts, Medford, Massachusetts, outside Boston in 1924. She was one of 5 girls, and her dad walked out on the family when she was pretty young. She also had major lung issues, so she ended up spending her winters in Florida. And she dropped out of high school in Florida and came out to California. She definitely lived kind of like a wanderlust lifestyle. So she came out to California in the early 1940s to get back and reconnect with her dad, and that didn't last very long. It didn't go quite as well as she probably hoped it would. And then she went back, that was in Vallejo, which is probably why she ended up being buried out here in Oakland. And then, yeah, she ended up she went to San Diego and Santa Barbara, and she got arrested for underage drinking in Santa Barbara, and they sent her back to Massachusetts, but she said screw this and went to Florida instead because she spent her high school years in Florida. And while she was in Florida, she got involved with a man who was a pilot, and he was recovering from plane crash injuries that he'd sustained in India. Remember, this is during World War II. And he proposed to her via letter. She accepted, but before they could get very far in the planning, he died in a plane crash. And so then that was when she came out to LA, Southern California. First she went to Lompico. She went to Lompoc, not Lompico. Lompico's the woods. She went to Lompoc, and she was involved with an Air Force sergeant there, but he was abusive. So she went down to San Diego, and she met another guy there, but something happened with that one. So then she went to LA. So by this point, it's like 1946, and the story goes that she was going to be an actress. But no one really knows how accurate that is anymore. She had no acting credits to her name at the time of her death at all. It's just people say that was why she was there. Maybe she was. No one really knows anymore. But that's the story. And she was working as a waitress. So the last time she was seen was January 9th, 1947. And she had gone on a date and was dropped off at the Biltmore, the Hotel Biltmore. So the staff of the Biltmore remember seeing her there. And then it is believed that she went to a nightclub after that, and there were some reported sightings of her at this nightclub. Not the one that she waitressed at, but another one. And that was the last time anyone ever heard from her. So her body was found on January 15th, 1947. So she was missing for probably, well, not really missing, because I don't know if anyone ever actually reported her missing. But she was unheard from for about a week before she was found. And this was a gruesome, grisly murder. Her body was found severed in half at the waist, and she was posed, which is sickening in and of itself. And there were lacerations all over, whole chunks of flesh removed from her body. She was drained of blood. If you look at crime scene photos, which I'm not going to include here because that would probably get me kicked off YouTube, she was literally, her face was carved from ear to ear, and it looked like a big grin. It's awful. It's horrific, absolutely horrific. No one deserves that. No one knows who killed her. To this day, it's unsolved. It is probably it's probably the most well-known murder case in modern history. It's captivated millions of people's attention. There's movies, there's books, there's podcasts. They arrested, or not arrested, but they questioned like 150 people, but were never able to come to a conclusion as to who did it. The coroner believed that it was done by a doctor or someone with more than a passing interest in the medical field because of the nature of the cuts. And that led to a theory, which has been propelled by the man's own son, that it was done by a Dr. George Hodel. And Steve Hodel, who was George Hodel's son, even wrote a book saying, yeah, my father killed the Black Dahlia. But George Hodel died before they could make an arrest, or probably even more than just a passing investigation into his name. This was also the first case after World War II that really gripped the nation, which is probably one of the reasons why it's been remembered for so long. There was a movie in 1946 called The Blue Dahlia, which some believe is how she got her name, or her nickname, I should say. But yeah, so to this day, it is still unsolved, and it's just gripped millions of people's attention since it happened, like, almost 80 years ago now. And, yeah, she was buried here in Oakland because she had a sister who lived here at the time. And, yeah, no one deserves to die like that. So it's too bad that we have never found out who killed her. But it is an interesting case, a horrific one, of course, but also very interesting. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about it, check out the Root of Evil podcast, which explores the theory that George Hodel was the murderer. And there's also a new book about it as well that just came out this year. So yeah, it is an interesting case. It's just definitely a horrific one, but it's been every true crime aficionado's dream to learn more about this case and what happened to Elizabeth Short. And now we can tell you where she's buried. This is Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland. So hopefully she has rested peacefully. And thank you for joining us.